I used to wake up tired. It didn't matter if I slept for 8 hours, 9 hours, or 10. The moment I opened my eyes, I felt this incredible heaviness. It wasn't just in my muscles. It was in my mind. It was a fog. I'd hit the snooze button 3, 4, sometimes 5 times. I'd drag myself out of bed and rely on caffeine just to reach a baseline level of human function. But by 2 p.m., I was crashing, and by 6 p.m., I was a zombie. I went to doctors. I checked my iron levels. I checked my thyroid. I changed my mattress. Everything came back normal, but I didn't feel normal. I felt like I was walking through water while everyone else was walking on air. I thought I was just lazy. I thought maybe I was just getting old. But I was wrong. I discovered that I wasn't suffering from a lack of physical energy. I was suffering from a massive leak of psychological energy. We tend to think of energy as physical fuel, like gas in a car. If you eat and you sleep, you should have energy. But we aren't cars. We are complex emotional and psychological machines. You can eat the healthiest diet in the world and sleep 10 hours a night, but if your mind is fighting a war against itself, you will be exhausted. If your dopamine receptors are fried, you will be exhausted. If you are carrying the weight of unmade decisions, you will be exhausted. I realized I had holes in my bucket. I was pouring energy in, but it was leaking out faster than I could replace it. This is the story of how I plugged the leaks. This is the psychology of why you are always tired, and the specific protocol I use to wake up feeling energized and ready to take on the day. To understand why we're so tired, we have to look at the fuel we run on. We don't just run on glucose. We run on dopamine. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation. It's the chemical that tells your brain, this is worth doing. When your dopamine system is healthy, effort feels good. You want to do things. You have a natural drive, but my dopamine system was broken. And if you're watching this, yours probably is too. I was living in a state of high stimulation, low satisfaction. From the moment I woke up, I was flooding my brain with cheap dopamine. I'd grab my phone before I even got out of bed. I'd scroll through Instagram, check emails, read the news. Before my feet even hit the floor, I had already processed 100 different pieces of information. I had seen other people's highlight reels, tragic news headlines, and urgent work demands. My brain hadn't even started its own day, and I was already exhausted from consuming the world. There's a concept in neuroscience called down-regulation. If you blast loud music into your ears for an hour, eventually your ears go numb to protect themselves. You can't hear the quiet sounds anymore. The same thing happens with dopamine. When you blast your brain with high-stimulation digital content, TikTok, constant notifications, video games, your brain protects itself by lowering its sensitivity. You become numb. Normal life, like reading a book, working on a project, or having a real conversation, starts to feel boring. It just doesn't register. This boredom manifests as fatigue. You aren't actually tired. You're just understimulated by reality because you've become overstimulated by your screen. I realized I was an addict. I wasn't addicted to drugs. I was addicted to distraction, and the cost of that addiction was my life force. But the leak wasn't just digital. It was mental. I was suffering from something called decision fatigue. Every time you make a decision, you burn a unit of mental energy. It doesn't matter if it's a big decision, like buying a house, or a small one, like what to wear or what to eat for breakfast. The biological cost is almost the same. I looked at my life, and I realized I was making thousands of meaningless decisions every single day. I'd wake up and decide when to get out of bed. Then I'd decide what to wear. Then I'd decide what to eat. Then I'd sit at my computer and decide which email to answer first. By noon, I had made hundreds of choices. My willpower battery was completely empty. This is why, at the end of the day, you can't stop yourself from eating junk food or watching mindless TV. You aren't weak. You are logically exhausted. Your brain has simply shut down the good decision center to save power. I was burning my best energy on things that didn't matter, leaving zero energy for the things that actually did. So, how did I fix it? I created a protocol, a system to plug these energy leaks. It has 2 parts, the dopamine detox and the decision diet. First, the dopamine detox. The goal is to reset your brain sensitivity. For 1 week, I committed to a radical reduction in stimulation. No social media, no news, no podcasts, no video games. My phone was basically a brick that could only make calls. The first 2 days were brutal. I felt restless, irritable, and incredibly bored. My brain was screaming for its usual fix. But then, on day 3, something amazing happened. The fog started to lift. I went for a walk, and for the first time in years, I noticed the details, the way the light hit the leaves, the sound of birds. It was like the world had been switched from black and white to color. I started to enjoy simple things again. Reading a physical book felt deeply engaging. Conversations became more meaningful because I was fully present. My brain, no longer numb from constant overstimulation, was finally able to appreciate the subtlety of real life. I wasn't just consuming content. I was creating my own experience. After the week was over, I didn't go back to my old ways. I set strict rules for myself. My phone stays out of the bedroom. I have designated times for checking emails and social media, and I use apps to block distracting sites during work hours. I replaced mindless scrolling with intentional activities like reading, meditating, or simply doing nothing. I made my digital world serve my real life, not the other way around. The second part of the protocol was the decision diet. I had to stop hemorrhaging energy on trivial choices. The solution was simple: routines and systems. I planned my life in advance to eliminate the need for in-the-moment decisions. I started picking out my clothes for the entire week on Sunday. I planned my meals for the week, so I never had to ask, "What's for dinner?" I created a morning routine that was non-negotiable. Wake up at 6 a.m., drink a glass of water, meditate for 10 minutes, and exercise for 30. No decisions, just execution. At work, I implemented a system called theming my days. Mondays became deep work days, where I'd tackle my most important creative tasks with no meetings allowed. Tuesdays were for meetings and collaboration. I stopped asking, "What should I do now?" and instead just followed the plan. The effect was immediate and profound. By automating the small stuff, I freed up an enormous amount of mental energy. My willpower wasn't depleted by noon. I had the focus and drive to work on my most important projects, and even had energy left over at the end of the day to be present with my family and friends. Combining the dopamine detox with the decision diet was life-changing. I stopped waking up tired. The mental fog disappeared. My motivation came back not from an external source, but from within. I plugged the leaks. I stopped being a slave to distraction and decision fatigue. If you feel constantly tired, it might not be your sleep or your diet. It might be the thousands of tiny holes in your psychological bucket. It's the constant scrolling that numbs your brain and the endless stream of choices that drains your will. The good news is, you can fix it. You can plug the leaks. Start small. For the next 24 hours, try this. Don't use your phone for the first hour of the day. And decide tonight what you'll wear and what you'll eat for breakfast tomorrow. Just these 2 small changes can show you how much energy you're losing. If you feel even a small difference, you'll know you're on the right track. This isn't about becoming a productivity robot. It's about reclaiming your energy so you can spend it on what truly matters. It's about getting your life back, and I hope this helps you wake up with the energy you deserve. Have you ever felt completely exhausted, even after getting a full night's sleep? I used to feel that way all the time. I'd wake up more tired than when I went to bed, and I couldn't figure out why. I thought maybe I was sick, or just getting old. But as I started to really look into it, I discovered the real culprits weren't physical. They were silent, mental killers. One of the first things I discovered is something psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect. It's just a fascinating concept. Our brains are wired to remember unfinished tasks much better than completed ones. Think about it. When you start something and don't finish it, your brain keeps it active, like an open tab on your computer. It keeps pinging you, reminding you, worrying about it. I realized my mind was like a browser with 50 tabs open at once. I need to fix that squeaky door. I have to call my mom back. I still haven't replied to that email from 3 days ago. I've got to cancel that subscription I'm not using. These weren't huge, life-altering tasks. Most of them were tiny, things that would take 5 or 10 minutes. But because I hadn't closed the loop on them, they were constantly running in the background, just draining my mental battery. It felt like I was carrying a heavy backpack filled with little stones. Each stone, each unfinished task, was light on its own. But all together, they were crushing me. I learned a powerful lesson. You can't truly rest if your subconscious mind is trying to manage 100 open loops. You can be sitting on the couch, watching a movie, physically resting, but your mind is still running the software of your unfinished life. This is why you can sleep for 10 hours and still wake up feeling drained. Your body slept, but your mind was working the night shift. But the open loops were only part of the story. There was also a huge emotional cost I was paying every single day. As I looked at the people in my life and the conversations I was having, I realized I was hemorrhaging energy through what I can only call inauthenticity. For years, I had been a classic people pleaser. I said yes when every fiber of my being wanted to scream no. I went to parties and events I had no interest in attending. I would laugh politely at jokes I didn't find funny and nod along to opinions I completely disagreed with. We often think of these as small social niceties, the oil that keeps society's gears running smoothly. But psychologically, every single time you act inauthentically, you create a deep tension in your nervous system. You are suppressing your true self to perform a character for others, and let me tell you, acting is exhausting. Imagine trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes constant, steady effort to keep it submerged. The moment you lose focus, it pops right back up to the surface. I realized I was holding 10 of those beach balls underwater every single day. I was juggling roles: the good employee, the always available friend, the perfect partner. I was so busy managing everyone else's emotions that I was completely ignoring my own. And then there were the energy vampires. I'm sure you know the type. They aren't necessarily bad people, but they are emotional black holes. They find you, and they just dump all their complaints, their dramas, and their negativity onto you. You listen, you try to be a good friend, you offer advice, you try to help. But when you finally leave the conversation, you feel like you've just run a marathon. You feel physically and emotionally drained. It's like they've siphoned the life force right out of you. I had to face the reality that I was trading my very limited energy to sustain people who seemed committed to their own misery. This led me to ask myself a brutal but necessary question. Who am I tired of? Not what, but who? The answer was painful. It meant I had to make some difficult cuts. It meant I had to start setting firm boundaries. It meant I had to stop performing and start being real. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was also one of the most liberating. But the most dangerous energy drain of all wasn't other people. It was my own lack of purpose. There's a strange paradox in psychology. Doing nothing is often more exhausting than doing something. Have you ever had a Sunday where you did absolutely nothing? Just scrolled through your phone, lounged on the couch, maybe took a nap. And by the end of the day, you felt strangely lethargic, maybe even a little depressed. Now think about a different kind of day. A day where you worked 12 hours on a project you were passionate about. Or you hiked a mountain, or you built something with your own hands. By the evening, you were physically tired. Sure, but mentally you felt electrified, alive. See, we are wired for pursuit. We are designed to have a target, a goal. When you don't have a clear goal, your energy just stagnates. It has nowhere to go, so it turns inward and becomes anxiety and lethargy. I was tired because I was bored. Not just bored in the moment, but bored with my entire existence. I had no mission. I was just surviving, managing the day-to-day. But the human spirit doesn't generate energy for simple maintenance. It generates energy for advancement, for growth, for the chase. If you don't give your brain a destination, it has no reason to give you the fuel to get there. Why would it? That would be a waste of precious resources. For so long, I was waiting to feel energetic before I started working on my dreams. I kept telling myself, once I have more energy, I'll start that project. But I had the whole equation backward. You don't get energy to start, you get energy asterisk because asterisk you started. The motion creates the emotion. The action generates the energy. Once I understood that, everything began to change. I started closing my open loops, setting my boundaries, and most importantly, I gave myself a mission. And slowly but surely, the energy came back, stronger than ever before. How did I go from waking up in a fog to waking up with fire in my belly? The answer might surprise you. I didn't buy some expensive supplement. I didn't start a punishing exercise routine that I quit in a week. I initiated what I call the energy audit. And if you are tired of being tired, you absolutely need to hear this. Think of your energy like a bank account. Right now, yours might be overdrawn. You keep trying to make more deposits, more coffee, more energy drinks, more naps, but the account stays empty. Why? Because you have invisible withdrawals happening 24/7. You're bleeding energy, and you don't even know it. Before you can worry about making more energy money, you have to stop the bleeding. You have to plug the leaks. So here is the exact protocol I used to reclaim my vitality, and it's something you can start today. Step 1 was the dopamine fast. I had to reset my brain's baseline. Our modern world is a constant assault of cheap stimulation. Phones buzzing, notifications popping, endless feeds scrolling. It's like eating junk food all day and then wondering why you have no energy for a healthy meal. So I committed to 7 full days of what I call low stimulation. I meant no TikTok, no Instagram, no scrolling through news headlines, no video games, nothing that gives you that quick, easy hit of pleasure. Let me be honest, the first 3 days were absolute hell. I felt restless. I was so incredibly bored. My brain was screaming for its pacifier, for that familiar swipe and scroll. I felt a constant nagging the fear of missing out. It was a genuine withdrawal. My mind was like a spoiled child throwing a tantrum because I took away its favorite toy. But then, something magical happened on day 4. The fog started to lift. It was like the static on an old TV finally cleared, and the picture became sharp. I was on a walk, and I actually noticed the deep, vibrant green of the trees. I sat down for lunch, and for the first time in years, I tasted my food, really tasted it. I could pick up a book and read for a solid 30 minutes without my hand instinctively reaching for my pocket. By removing those constant cheap spikes of dopamine, I gave my brain's receptors a chance to heal and resensitize. My natural motivation started to return. I didn't have to force myself to work on important things. I actually wanted to. Why? Because staring at a wall was no longer a more entertaining option than building my future. I rediscovered the joy of creating instead of just consuming. Step 2 was about closing the open loops. You know that feeling? That low-grade hum of anxiety in the back of your mind? That's the sound of your brain trying to keep track of a million unfinished things. It's exhausting. So I took out a simple piece of paper and a pen. I wrote down every single unfinished task in my life, no matter how small. Every unanswered email. Every broken light bulb in the house. Every doctor's appointment I needed to make. Every vague worry that was floating around in my head. When I was done, the list had 42 items. 42 tiny little weights in a mental backpack I was carrying every single day. The next Saturday, I dedicated the entire day to one mission: closing loops. I didn't try to do deep, creative work. I just executed these small, nagging tasks. I replied to the emails. I booked the appointments. I fixed the doorknob. I canceled the subscription. I just went down the list, one by one. By Sunday morning, the relief was physical. I felt lighter. That heavy backpack of stones was gone. My subconscious mind finally quieted down because it knew there was nothing left to track. It could finally rest. If you want to wake up with a clear mind, you have to clean your mental slate. Step 3 was automating decisions. I declared war on decision fatigue. I realized that my willpower is a finite resource, like a battery that drains throughout the day. I was wasting so much of that precious battery on things that simply did not matter. What should I wear? What should I eat for breakfast? What should I work on first? So I stopped. I adopted a personal uniform. I wear essentially the same thing every day, just in different colors. Simple, clean, effective. I started eating the same healthy breakfast and lunch every single day. It takes zero thought. And most importantly, I started scheduling my entire week on Sunday night. I time-blocked my calendar. So when I wake up on a Tuesday morning, I don't have to spend a single ounce of energy deciding what to do. I just look at the calendar and execute the plan I already made for myself when I was clear-headed. By automating the mundane, I saved my best energy for the profound. I stopped being the frantic manager of my life, constantly putting out fires, and became the architect, calmly building the life I wanted. Step 4 was the social purge. This was by far the hardest part. I took a long, honest look at the relationships in my life. I identified the energy vampires, the people who, after every interaction, left me feeling drained, negative, and exhausted. I didn't make a big scene. I didn't start a fight or send a dramatic text message. I just quietly and gracefully stopped being available. I stopped answering the phone calls that I knew would turn into a 45-minute complaint session. I politely declined the invitations that I knew would leave me feeling empty. And for the important relationships, the ones I wanted to keep and nurture, I stopped performing. I stopped being a people pleaser. I started saying no. No, I'm sorry, I don't have the energy to go to that dinner tonight. No, I can't help you with that project right now, my plate is full. I finally realized that no is a complete sentence. It doesn't require a long explanation or a list of excuses. And every single time I said no to something that would drain me, I was saying a powerful yes to my own energy, my own peace, and my own priorities. Finally, step 5 was defining the mission. With all this newfound energy, I had to give my brain a target, a purpose, a reason to get out of bed that was bigger than just getting through the day. The key here was focus. I picked one major goal, not 10. One. For me, it was starting this channel and sharing these ideas with you. For you, it might be finally getting in the best shape of your life, or learning a new language, or saving a specific amount of money to buy a house. Whatever it is, it has to excite you. I committed to working on it for 1 hour a day, first thing in the morning, before the world could throw its distractions at me. This one decision changed everything. When my alarm went off, I wasn't waking up to check emails or scroll through social media. I was waking up to build my future. My body started flooding me with energy because it knew we had an important mission to accomplish. It had a purpose. So if you're listening to this right now and you feel that heaviness in your chest, that constant fog in your mind, I want you to know that it is not a life sentence. You are not broken. You are just overburdened. You are carrying the invisible weight of unfinished tasks, unmade decisions, and unauthentic relationships. You are drowning in cheap dopamine and starving for real purpose. You don't need more coffee. You need more clarity. Imagine, just for a moment, what you could do if you had your full energy back. Imagine who you could be if you weren't fighting that fog every single day. That person, that powerful, vibrant version of you is waiting, but you have to clear the path for them. You have to be willing to be bored for a few days. You have to be willing to say no. You have to be willing to finally close the loops. It is time to wake up. I want you to make a contract with yourself today. Not with me, with you. Go to the comments section right now and write this simple promise. I am closing the loops. Let that be your first step. Pick one thing that has been draining you, one unfinished task, one toxic habit, one unanswered email, and end it today. Stop the leak. Start filling your bucket. The world needs you awake. Thanks for watching.